Welcome to the Fee King Show, the arm in there are Black people in Omaha. I'm your hostess with the mostest, your local fitness go-to girl, Fee King, born and raised on the north side of Omaha, Nebraska. I am super excited, stoked, grateful, and proud that I get to bring to the Fee King Show an interview with our very own 2025 mayoral candidate. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Let me slow it down. Mayoral candidate John Ewing Jr. So let me just share a little bit about John because I'm sure many of you know who he is, what he's accomplished, what he's about to accomplish. Here we go. John has over 4 decades of unwavering commitment to public service. John's extensive background in law enforcement and community involvement has profoundly impacted Omaha. His leadership as Douglas County Treasurer and his deep roots in local community service highlight his readiness to serve as our mayor. Without further ado, bringing to the Fee King Show, Mr. John Ewing Jr.
Good morning, Fee, and thank you for having me. I'm excited as well to be on the show and excited to be running for mayor as well.
Yes, good morning. All the way from, I'm in New York City, you're in Omaha, Nebraska, and I tell you, this is such an honor and a privilege and a treat. And so I just want to get right into this. Are you ready?
Yes,
right. I want to share something with you, and I'm going to read this. Can you see it on your screen?
Yes, I can.
All righty. It says, Black Mayor of Omaha, starting in 1936, an African-American social club called Bacchanite Club held a competition to identify a trustworthy leader for Omaha's Black community, a leader for the best interests of the Negroes as a whole, to represent them in all civic affairs, reported the Omaha Guide, a Black-owned paper. I love that I get to learn. I just keep getting to learn. The office was going to have an all-Black cabinet of predominant leaders within the community to advise them on decision making. So, John, this means if you are elected as Omaha, Nebraska's 2025 mayor, you will be making history.
Yes, I would be the first Black mayor of Omaha, and I've already made history when I became the Douglas County Treasurer. I was the first, and still, unfortunately, I had a guy that I was really working hard to become the Douglas County Sheriff, but I'm still the only African American to ever be elected countywide in Nebraska.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Woo! All right. Well, let's get into this. My goodness. All right. The role of the mayor. Many of us don't quite know exactly what all the mayor does. It is a big role, lots of responsibility. Can you give us the abbreviated description of what your role will be should you become the mayor of Omaha?
Sure. The most important thing is that the mayor provides executive leadership, which I have plenty of experience at, and provides that leadership to the various department heads in the city so that you can have an effective delivery of services, whether that's police services, fire services, snow removal, street repair, public works, all of those types of things, and then works in conjunction with the city council as well to be able to get legislative agendas passed within the city council, as well as working with the city council and others to look at what assistance or legislative initiatives we need at the state level as well.
That is a big job.
Yes.
And what is the term? How many years would you serve?
Each term is 4 years.
All right. That's a great segue. So let's segue into the current city mayor is vying for her 4th term in office. Yes. That's a long time to hold a position, a public servant position. Would you agree?
I would agree, especially a position at that higher level. If you look at most elections for governor and the state level offices, as well as state legislature, and even in other cities, a mayor's term is usually limited at 2 terms.
Interesting. So do you know why Omaha is different?
I do not. I think there's a lot of things that are different that make it interesting and maybe even more difficult sometimes, such as having the elections after the presidential elections instead of during the general elections. So those are things that we need to really look at our city charter and look at whether or not term limits are appropriate.
Right. I agree. Okay. All righty. I feel like we have so much to cover, and we're going to have you back on the show as often as you are available up until April, right?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. You have carte blanche. Whenever you want to come on to the show, please just reach out, and I'd love to have you back as often as possible. And I know that our community would appreciate that as well. All righty. So explain this quote to me. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm not a bureaucrat. I'm not a politician. I'm a public servant.
I will tell you what it is, and then I'll tell you the difference.
Okay.
The difference for me and what I try to do is I look at how I can impact people's lives. And I'm looking to do the best that I can for the people I serve. I heard a sermon many years ago, probably over 30 years ago, that is my life model. And what it talked about was nothing matters except impacting eternity. And the only way you impact eternity is by impacting people's lives. And so that's what I set out to do at the police department. I did a lot of practical things that help make that organization better, make it more responsive to the citizens of this community. As the Douglas County Treasurer, I surveyed the citizens, which is very rare for government, asking them what they wanted to see from this office for the first several years that I was here. So as I was looking at making decisions, implementing technology, it wasn't what I thought. It was what the citizens wanted. And I'll give you an example of that.
Okay.
Many years ago, we did everything we could to really get people to use the online services, the mail, the telephone, so that they would not come in and stand in line. One of the things the citizens said to our staff numerous times is they would like to see debit and credit cards in the customer service centers. I was opposed to that because I thought it would bring more people back into the customer service centers. But since the citizens wanted that, that's what we did. So that's an example of a public servant where you're listening to what the people want, and then you're providing that level of service. The difference between a public servant and a politician, and I encourage people to pay attention, really pay attention to your elected officials. A lot of them will start and they'll tell you what they're going to do. They'll make you a lot of promises when they're running for election.
Yes.
Then when they're done, you will ask yourself, what did they accomplish? And you'll find that a lot of times they haven't accomplished much because they've been too busy playing politics and trying to be on the right side of issues versus providing you the services and doing what they said they were going to do. One of the things I pledged to the people of North Omaha, to the people of Omaha in general, to the people of South Omaha, is that if I tell you something, I'm going to do everything I can to make it happen. I'm not going to break promises.
Thank you for that. I noticed that you singled out North Omaha, South Omaha. Is that because the majority of the citizens in those areas are people of color, minorities, what some would say the underserved communities?
I wouldn't say I picked them out because they are ethnic or racial minority communities. I picked them out because I believe they are underserved in this community, especially when it comes to economic development.
Yes.
And that is one of my priorities. Even if you look at the money that came through the rescue plan and pumped money into North and South Omaha. It was a great start. It did a lot to put money into social nonprofit agencies, but not enough to build a business community. And I'm intent on building a business community so that we can have jobs in our community, we can have stores in our communities, we can have grocery stores in our community, we can have the money turn over in our community, which is how you really develop economic development versus it turning over less than one time. We get it and we go out and spend it somewhere else. If we can get that money to turn over 4, 5, even 6, 7, 8, 9 times, that's when you have true economic development. That's when you have prosperity for the people of a community. So that's what I'm looking at, trying to do, partnering with the people of the community and others who want to partner and see great things in those two communities.
I'm so happy that you touched upon that, because last week I made a post about, I think, what stores do you miss?
Yes, I saw it and I replied.
I mean, it took me down memory lane. And so many of those stores were on the north side, even though they weren't Black owned. But, you know, it felt like community because we could walk to those stores. We worked at those stores. Some of our family members, parents and grandparents worked at those stores. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. With that being said, we watch TV shows, right? And the mayor's running and he'll say, you know, my office doors are open, contact me, come in. Will your office be that office where people can actually come in and have a conversation, ask questions, make comments, share with you some things that they maybe disagree with or not? But will your office be open literally to the public?
I've been in the Douglas County Treasurer's role. This is my 18th year. My door has always been open. I answer and return every phone call. I sit down with people when they want to talk to me, and I will do that same thing as mayor.
Beautiful. All right, so I have another question. I wrote them down because I said it's so important. All righty, let's talk about campaign funds. You are still fundraising, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Without giving an exact number, like how much money does a mayoral candidate, help me with that? Is it mayoral?
I'm going to say it's at least $1 million. $1 million to $1.5 million that I would need. So quite honestly, I need people in the community to decide to partner so that we can get this done.
Are we close?
No, not yet. We're just really starting the fundraising, and that effort will kick off after the November elections. But that's what we need to do, is really get people to be engaged and invest in their future and invest in the future of the community. Because the reality is, if you expect to get anything differently than you've gotten in the last, I'll say 63 years, because that's how long I've been in this community. If you expect to get anything differently than you've gotten in the last 63 years, you need to put someone else in the position.
Amen to that. So with that being said, when you talk about partnership, people wanting to partner with you for the fundraising efforts, what does that look like?
Well, my website is johnewingforomaha.com. People can go on the website. They can make donations there. They can make recurring donations, which is really a great thing when you know you've got that money coming in every month. They also can make one-time contributions, but really very similar to what President Barack Obama did in 2008 and what Kamala Harris is doing now. The more people you get making those small donations on a continuous basis, it really adds up. So it doesn't take a lot of money from an individual. It just takes consistency, and it takes a lot of individuals to say, this is something that we want, this is something that we believe in, we're going to be a partner. And I said specifically partner because I believe in building partnerships for everything I do. One of my good friends, Johnny Rogers, says, if you can do it by yourself, it just ain't big enough. And
That's
so I agree with that wholeheartedly. And most of the great things that I've been able to be a part of in this community have been building partnerships with the community.
I love that. I love that. There's no I in team. I mean, it
Absolutely not.
takes it is going to take a team to make this happen or to help this happen.
Yes.
Because we don't feel like we need to do it by force.
No.
Your opponent. So I know a little bit about her background. She was a nurse, her husband's a surgeon, and then I know a little bit about your background, which I think having background makes for a good candidate who's been serving and who apparently it looks like you both love people. But what would you like for people to know the difference between how you plan to transform Omaha versus what your opponent has been doing for the last 3 terms?
Sure. There have been some good things happening in Omaha. If you look at some of the literature out there, you'll see things where it talks about Omaha being one of the best cities in the country. The difference between me and my opponent is I'm going to try to spread that prosperity across the entire community. In our African American and our Latino communities, we're experiencing over 20% poverty in both of those communities, as well as having larger numbers of unemployed and underemployed. So I'm going to be very intentional about making sure everyone has an opportunity to be part of the great things that are happening in Omaha. A second difference is simply this. I mentioned it earlier. If I tell you something, I'm going to do it. And I'll just give you a couple of examples where that hasn't been done. When the mayor first ran for mayor, she mentioned that she would either eliminate or reduce the restaurant tax. That was never done. When you look at the streetcar, it looks like it could very well be a great project that will lead to economic development. So I'm not critical of the streetcar itself. However, I am critical of the process when you tell people that it will go to a vote during the middle of a campaign and that never happens. Then when you're challenged on that, you say, I'm the mayor, I have the right to make these decisions. To me, that is not how you lead. You lead by building consensus and getting people engaged and hearing what they have to say, not shutting them out because you may not agree with them. So that's the difference. Those are the two very specific differences. The other difference I would say is really looking at the fact that I've served this community. I'm ready to serve again, and I will be a full-time mayor living in Omaha and committed to this city.
Amen. I love that. Woo! That's a big statement. That is a big commitment. That is a big commitment.
It's what I've been doing for 42 years.
And now, are you born and raised in Omaha?
Born and raised in Omaha, as you proudly said, from North Omaha.
Yes. All right. I'm glad that you spoke about the restaurant tax, because I have an idea of how that impacts everyone, from those dining to those who own a restaurant, because that tax doesn't go to the restaurant owner for him or her to pay employees and to run a business. It goes to the government. And so it impacts all of us. It makes it more difficult for someone to be and stay in business if people can't afford to eat there because of, I think it's 9.5% tax or 3 taxes.
I don't know the exact figure, Fee, to be perfectly honest, because it's a little bit convoluted how it actually works. But I do know that it impacts the people who go out to dinner. And certainly, I'm not even saying that we shouldn't have it, because you have to make sure you have enough revenue to run the city. What I'm saying is, if you say things in the middle of a campaign to get people to vote for you, you should tell the truth.
Right. Because it was supposed to be a temporary tax.
Yes, it was.
That's what I read. Okay. All right.
And many years later, we still have it.
Yes. So, what would you like for people to know about John Ewing Jr. that they may not know?
You know, I'm not sure what people know and what they don't know about me. I know people do know my professional record. They know what I've done from that perspective. I don't think people know truly how much I've served in the nonprofit arena on different boards and different organizations that impact people's lives, and how many leaders that I've helped groom in those particular organizations. And I'll just name a few people really quickly. Kenny McMorris at Charles Drew Health Center, Richard Webb, who is now at Boys and Girls Club, Amanda Jedlicka or Amanda Brewer, who is at Habitat for Humanity, and a number of people that I helped prepare to get to leadership positions where they're leading those organizations and having an impact on people's lives. I've been involved with Girls Inc., which is a great organization. And the years that I was board president, we were considered the best affiliate in the world. So not only do I lead and help the leaders of those organizations lead,
Yes.
we do that with excellence. And so I don't know that people really know the level of excellence that I try to bring to those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say they probably don't know that. They probably don't know how many different organizations I've been a part of. They don't know maybe my passion for people and my love for people. That's why I do this. People ask me, are you tired yet? They ask me after all these years, why are you taking on another challenge? And the reality is, it's because I love this city and I love the people of this city. And I'm a guy who's looking to bring this community together. You see a lot of the divisive politics, and you see people trying to pit people against each other. You see people saying a lot of negative things, and you see things like Project 2025 on the national level, where they are looking to basically demolish all of the progress that women have made, all of the progress that African Americans have made, all the progress that Latinos have made. And you have a mayor's candidate who is supporting the person who is primarily going to be responsible, if he won the presidential race, for implementing that.
Yes, I read that too.
So how do you say that you are for the people of this community when you look at something that divisive, that would devastate people, that would basically put government in every aspect of your life and government in control of every aspect of your life, including your body, including who you marry? All of those things are against what our Constitution and what the promises of America stand for. We haven't always lived up to our promises, but we've made progress, and we have to continue to make progress. And for African Americans, Latinos, the biggest way to ensure that we have that progress is to be involved in the political process at every level. Everyone needs to vote on November 5th to make sure we continue the progress and not go backward. Everyone in Omaha needs to vote on April 8th and May 13th so that we make progress in this city and we become a partner with the progress that is being made on the national level. So those things are critically important, that we look at the fact that our vote matters. A lot of people say their vote doesn't matter. Here's a quote that I've heard many times, and it's absolutely true. If your vote didn't matter, why are they so busy trying to take it away from you?
That part.
So that tells you that in spite of your thought that maybe your vote doesn't matter, it does. That's why you have voter suppression, things like voter ID and other things where people are taking people off the voters' rolls. That's because your vote does matter. And that's where your true power is.
Well said. Ooh,
Thank you.
you gave me chill bumps. Ooh. Yeah, seriously. So I feel like we have so much time, but not enough time
I'll
to.
come back as often as you want.
Well, yeah, because we are currently 7.1 thousand strong, and we're growing every day. And off camera, I would like for us to discuss how can we support you? How can we create partnerships between you and the Feed King Show and you and some of our members so that we can do our part to ensure that you have the funds to run a strong race. So
Thank you.
yeah, let's definitely be intentional as we
Absolutely.
continue to have you back. And let's see, I want to share with everyone how they can connect with you, read up more about you and your race, as well as donate, because I agree with being able to donate on a continuous basis. It's the same analogy with growing money. Sometimes people think, oh, I need to make more money. No, you just need to do different things with your money. You need to set your money aside, set a little bit aside, and watch it grow. So that's the same analogy with a fundraiser. You give what you can
Absolutely.
weekly or monthly, and it'll grow. Before you know it, maybe you've donated 10,000 just by
Sure.
incrementally donating. I
And
think.
just like, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I
go
was
ahead.
just going to say, just like investing, if you start early, then the money grows faster. So if people start now investing for their future, but also investing in this campaign, which is for their future, then it will grow exponentially and grow faster and give us the opportunity to compete, because we're going to have to compete against all of the negativity as people try to attack me during this process. One of the things you may or may not know is I ran for Congress in 2012.
Okay.
And I actually came within 1.4%. And I was the top individual in the United States that didn't win, running against a Republican with 10 or more years in Congress. The reason that I lost that race, in my opinion, is I just didn't have people believing in me. Look at my record. I think you can believe in me.
Yeah.
I think if you look back at that race, you can see how hard I worked. You can see how hard I've worked throughout my adult life. And that's really the key. I've been doing this my entire adult life. This is my passion.
I can tell.
I'm doing this because I think we can be better.
Yes, and it's a new day.
Absolutely.
It is a new day, and so let's just figure it out. Let's have the conversations. What really resonated with me with what you shared today is creating partnerships. I am team partnerships. None of us make it there alone.
No.
When people talk about self-made, there's no such thing as self-made, because it takes a team. It takes people believing in you. It takes people working with you. There is no self-made. You're just, out front. The spotlight is on you, but there's a whole background of people who are fighting hard to make it happen because they see the bigger vision, the greater picture.
Absolutely.
I'm super excited, and I can't wait to have you back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this will be on our page, and let's see, this is Tuesday. So between today and Friday, I'll be editing, making short clips to share throughout the week, and I'll tag you so that you can share as well. And then we'll set up our next interview.
Okay, sounds good. And I will be in touch with you to make sure that we are able to build the partnership like you talked about and really
Yeah.
discuss how that looks as well. I just want to share a quick story because when you talk about how nobody ever does it alone, I want people to think about this story. I was working in the stock room at Sears as a business major, trying to work my way through college. A couple people, a guy named Joe Crinklaw and a lady named Linda DeBolt, worked security at Sears. And they actually worked for the police department. They saw my work ethic and they convinced me to apply for the police department. I applied as much as anything just to get them off my back. But those two people really set my course for public service. I had no idea that I would be doing this for 42 years. So when you make an investment in people, you're the wind beneath their sails. You're the people that are helping people achieve great things. And so as people think about partnership, I just want them to think about those two people. Had they not made that investment, just a little bit of time, talk to me, I would not be sitting here talking to you today. So those conversations 43, 44 years ago are what helped propel me to this point. And so that's what I try to do for people as well. And that's what I want to do for this community.
Beautiful. Well, I support you. I
Thank
applaud you. I commend you. Oh, I am really blown away, and I am honored again that you said yes. So thank you for saying yes. That speaks volumes to your character and your commitment. And I look forward to seeing you in the office.
Well, thank you very much for your partnership and saying yes, because this is how I'm going to win. I'm not going to win because I've got a whole bunch of wealthy friends. I'm
Right.
going to win because I have people that want to see Omaha reach its full potential for everyone.
For everyone. Thank you, John. Have an
Okay.
amazing week, and I will speak with you on the other side.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Have a great rest of your week as well.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was amazing. That was so incredible. So look for Mr. John Ewing, our 2025 Omaha mayoral candidate, to come back to bless the Fee King show. I believe that this is going to be reoccurring, maybe, I don't know, every 2 weeks, monthly. We will figure that out. Send your questions, leave your comments. Let me know if you're interested in partnership, whatever that might look like for you. This has been the Fee King Show. I am your hostess with the mostest, your local fitness go-to girl, Fee King. I bid you love, light, peace, prosperity, possibility, joy, love, and abundance, not just for today, right? Not even for the rest of this week or the rest of 2024, but for your entire life condition. I'm out. Peace.